Yes, yes, yeah. This is Offering Something. I am your host, Michael Bernier, feeling so good to be alive. You know that's the truth. I love you, love you, love you for checking the show. Indeed, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and click on that subscribe button for me. That's so sweet of you. If you're the streaming television type, you know you can check the show on Amazon Fire, Apple TV, Roku, Distro TV, all that on the Plymouth Rock TV channel. I have so much appreciation for our sponsors at Enjoy Your Life brand, Riverwalk Brewing Company, and the Higher Education Music and Arts Festival. Yes, yes, yeah. Here we go, my friends. Today we have an epic episode in store for you with the guest who is a musician, an artist, a lover, a world touring performer, a writer, a peacemaker, a man of great compassion, a creator of hope and connection, and a human who is here for the betterment of the world and all the people. It is with great pleasure and bliss that I introduce to y'all Mike Love. Yeah, buddy. How are you today?
Good, man. Thank you so much. That's a big intro to live up to.
Was it proper? Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me.
Of
man.
course. It's a pleasure to have you here in the room, that's for sure. Why don't you push that microphone down a little bit so we can see your beautiful face? There it is, Mikey boy. Yeah. So first, you comfortable?
Yeah, man.
Everything all right?
Yeah.
Feel good here in this new space?
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me in, man.
I'm happy to. So in your mind, today, on this specific day, you wake up and naturally you find yourself in the most peaceful place. Is that how your brain operates?
Well, I woke up today, found myself in a hotel room with just a few minutes to get ready and jump in the van and get to a ferry.
What state are we in when we wake up, aside from groggy?
Oh, let's see. I was in New York, in Long Island. Yeah, man. You know, I mean, obviously that's an ideal way to wake up, but sometimes having an erratic schedule doesn't always offer the convenience of waking up.
So you wake up and the tasks are thrown at you.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, it's like sometimes that's kind of the life of a touring musician. I think it's sort of like you get as much sleep as you possibly can whenever you can. And
let's make this easier. In the off season, whenever these times are, days, weeks that you have off and you wake up in your own bed, is it normal for you to wake up and feel good about life?
Yeah.
Feel good about yourself, or do you have to work to get there?
Yeah, no, I like to greet the day with as much positivity as I can. I live in a very peaceful place. Yep. I live kind of way out in the country on a long dirt road with a pretty big.
Where are you?
I'm in Eastern Washington now. I'm born and raised in Hawaii, but I moved last year to Eastern Washington.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't know this about you.
Yeah, man. So I went from one of the most crowded places in the world to one of the least crowded places in the world.
Look at that. Had a good time. You see?
Yeah.
So how about this? When you're on Hawaii, there's no like tour bus. There's no reason to have a tour bus, right?
Right.
So are you now considering, or have you already, like, are you thinking, Mike might get a Mike Love tour bus?
I don't know, man. I don't really see like if I was, especially right now, I mean, I'm not doing a lot of touring with my band, for one thing.
That's right. It would be a bit excessive. Yeah.
For another thing, it's you know, I've often considered like having a tour vehicle and keeping it somewhere, but then, you know, it's just
a lot of sitting.
It's a lot of sitting, and it's a lot of driving too, because if you end a tour, you know, you end one tour in California and your place to store it is in New York, you know, then you got to drive back to New York and store it, and then maybe your next tour a month later starts in California again, so you got to drive back to California.
Right on.
Yeah. Makes more sense for me to just kind of rent vehicles wherever I go.
I like it.
I'm touring right now in a minivan, you know?
I saw the Dodge minivan out there.
You know?
Yeah,
it's
plenty
like it's
of space.
Just whatever's, we got that thing packed to the gills, but, you know, it's all we need, you know?
When you transitioned from the womb to the world, where were you?
I was in Hawaii. I was born and raised there.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's still a sacred place to you.
Absolutely,
Are you
man.
visiting frequently?
Yeah, I moved almost a year ago now, but I've been back I think 3 or 4 times now. So yeah, my grandma still lives there. I still have family there, and all my friends are there. So yeah, I got to make it back as much as I can.
Why do you make music? Why do you take to the stage? What is the greater, not for the finances and the popularity, what's the greater purpose of you being on stage? Why do you do this?
Healing, healing is the biggest purpose. I think music it heals me, and I feel the healing that it gives to the people, but it starts with me, and I receive this music. I feel like it's more of a being like a conduit kind of thing than it coming from me. So if you go to a concert and you're feeling like a deep spiritual connection with the music that the musicians on stage are making, well, like that's what I'm feeling with myself when I first received these songs, so I'm feeling like I'm getting these messages of healing, and it brings me a lot of peace and a lot of grounding. If I feel like I'm kind of spinning out and something's really bringing me a lot of anxiety, or I don't know what to do about something, I open myself up to songwriting, and that's generally where I get a lot of like advice and guidance from. Yeah. And then when I go out and share that with people, I feel like people get that same. A lot of the messages in the music are not very, they're poetic in a way, so they're open to interpretation. So people can, take something that was written about, my son or my dog and
apply it to their life.
Exactly. Apply it to their grandma or.
So you're saying as you're performing, you're also experiencing this energy and this healing at the same time, simultaneously.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really the highest experience I think you can have playing music is sharing it in a live environment, When
you're there, you're performing, the audience obviously heightens this feeling of like, everything is just right. Mm-hmm. And do you find yourself like taking the time right then to be like smiling and like, wow.
Of course, man. I soak it in, and
this is good.
Yeah, I soak it in, and I definitely recognize, because there are moments, sometimes that are very special, and I can really feel like a deep connection, and I always feel that. But sometimes there are moments where it like, I reach a place and I'm like, this is a place I've never been before, really deeply, and I definitely, I think over years of experience, it's taken a lot of experience to, like when you meditate, sometimes you
describe to me your meditation process.
I have a lot of different meditations, but if you're doing like a meditation focused on breath, a mindfulness meditation, like it's a practice, right? So when you sit down and you start meditating and you just like, you're like, oh, my back's sore, and you're like trying to stay with your breath, but you're getting comfortable.
Going on with my foot.
And then when you first really experience that feeling of letting go of your connection with your body and letting your energy field expand, and you start feeling that, and you've pushed all your thoughts away, and you're reaching a higher level of enlightenment, of connection. But then you go like, it's like once you get there, it's a hard thing to not go like, this is it, and then like that pulls you out of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm knocking.
I made it here. It's okay.
But yeah, right. So it's like, and that's another level of attunement, I think, is being able to be in that place and then not let the idea of like, whoa, like what is this, like, pull you out of it, and just to be there and be present.
What do you
and
feel you actually
it.
Accomplish from that? What is the healing? You're just like, everything is more okay now.
Right, and it's also like it's a place where your energy is flowing most freely. So it's an opportunity to release like things that you've been holding on to. Yeah. I think in those, one of my main goals when I'm playing music is to just be as open and freely flowing with my energy as I can,
100%
because
in the right now.
Right,
Not just talking about it and saying it like this is really happening now. This is the only thing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. And your energy is flowing through all of your pranic energy is flowing through your entire being, your entire spirit, through all of your chakras, and in all of these chakras in different places, wherever, in our spirit. I'm not like really, an expert on all of this. I just know what I feel for myself. Like, it's like we hold different things in different chakras in our bodies, and they create like, resentments we hold on to that create blockages in our energy flow. And sometimes, you can be so resentful of something that everything else, all growth comes to a halt, and sometimes it's like for years. And if you've ever experienced like a freeing up of that energy where you have this opportunity to let go of it, and then you do, it's such a great release, and such a great weight. And it's almost like a rebirth, and you feel like instantly
alive again.
Younger again, and alive again. And music, I always tell people, it's like music is such a perfect place to do that, to experience that, because it is a meditation, 100. And it's also like a collective meditation. So you're not only using your own energy, but you're using the energy of everybody around you who's who's vibrating in the same audience, way, to elevate your
because where else do we create this kind of connection?
Right. Well, I mean,
so
there's
many humans. There are plenty. There are other ways.
There's mass meditations, but I feel like it is one of the places where it's really easy, and people don't even necessarily realize they're getting into this mass meditation.
That's what I was gonna say. It's all the more way to connect with just common music loving people. All of a sudden they are feeling free and healed, and like, something just happened when I watched that show. Mm-hmm. So you get off the stage and you run and hide, you don't talk to anybody, or you get down, you mingle, you love people.
Oh yeah, I always go out and talk to the people.
I usually heard this about you.
Yeah, I usually try and take a moment or two to get a little bit grounded, and then I go out and talk to people. And I feel that's an important part of it for me, because we're experiencing this all together as a group.
You don't want to create this hierarchy in it. You want to get out there and be like, look, we're humans, we're the same. I wasn't just putting on a show.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is life, and I actually do love and care about you.
Yeah, and I also like to hear people's stories, because I have this own way that I interpret these songs, and they mean something to me. And then when I hear somebody and they come and say, hey, like, I was in a bad place, and this particular song, like, one day I heard this song and it just woke me up, and from that moment on, like, I've been on this greater path. And hearing something like that, like, is like, if you do that for even one person, it's such a huge,
amazing.
Yeah, it's such a huge vindication of like hard work that you put into doing something, and it helps me to continue and work harder and like,
you're not being delusional in this thought of that you actually are helping people, and there is healing going on. There's this vindication. Yeah,
right,
like
and that's always that's always been my intention, and I don't think there's anything wrong with like, doing your best to heal, and if like if you're making music that you're trying to make healing music, and it's, I don't want to discourage anybody from making music that's healing, because sometimes it doesn't matter even if nobody connects with it, as long as it's healing for you and you're getting a release from it, then that's really enough. But it definitely is like validating to feel all of that love from people, and know that I mean, it's like a great gift, and it also makes it a responsibility.
You feel you need to be in a position where you have self-love before you can actually interpret and receive love from others, or can you be an angry, I hate myself person and still receive love?
I mean, that's a really, really complicated question. I think we all have a certain amount of self-loathing,
Yeah.
and that's like that's all like I think comes from trauma that we carry, sometimes from things that we've done or things that have happened to us in this life, or sometimes from other lives, and we're like digging, doing these meditations and searching for this love in an attempt to, dig that out and heal it,
yeah.
But I also think that like it's interesting because when I write this music, or I think when anybody writes music that's like really super connected to God, to source, to the universe, whatever you want to call it, it's like you go into your higher self. You connect with your higher self, which is like, I feel like your perfect self. It's that place where all of your ideals, all of your greatest morality, your purest being exists. And that's where I go when I'm performing. That's where I go when I'm writing. But like day to day, it's like I'm not like, I fall short, of my ideals. I fall short of, probably everybody's expectations of me.
That's Mike Love. He was, what a geez.
Yeah, right. I mean, but I'm a human, and like we're I think people are experiencing that with that realization with some of the musicians like in our conscious community, that people are like being very judgmental of, and I'm sure I'm not going to name any names, but I'm sure everybody knows people in particular that I'm talking about, and it's like I feel like people put musicians on a pedestal, of course,
right.
because we're singing about our the deepest parts of ourselves and our ideals. We're singing about our dreams. We're singing about
not
our
every
hopes.
Musician, but you are.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I feel like every aspect of my life is not out there for the world to see. It's
this
like
is what my refrigerator looks like.
Right, it's like
my toilet.
I'm not always, I'm not always like eating the most healthy. I'm not always like a perfect dad. I yell at my kids sometimes, and like it's like
I do know, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you just live life like I'm just an ordinary human, right? And just living life and experiencing all the mistakes and all the all the bullshit, and like
in this process you're dealing with something that average people don't deal with, and it puts you in a position where you have to perhaps be more conscious of your ego, and that is popularity and quotes around fame. So do you ever see yourself acting like a monster because you're in a position and you can do whatever you want, or are you staying always conscious of, oh, well, I'm just a regular guy, I got to keep it together, ego, I see what it wants to do, but that's not you, Mike, that's not the heightened higher being?
I think like, I've never been really one to like abuse my, abuse the fact that people like me and they want to do things for me or help me out. I'm not the type of person to like abuse that position of, popularity or
but you consider your ego, you're conscious of it, and
of course, yeah. And I mean, I think no matter what, I mean, obviously every energy, every aspect of our lives changes who we are. It's like you would like to think that you you have a certain ideal and you're poor, and then you start making more money, and it doesn't change anything about you. But that's really naive to think, I mean,
your entire world is changing around you.
Yeah. And it's going to change. And you have to be conscious of that and aware of it, and still do your best to be a good person and to, I
think you're doing a good job.
Thanks, man. Well, I mean, I try my best, and I'll be the first to admit that I'm definitely not a perfect human in any way. And I mean, I have as many faults as anybody else, if not more, and I mean, I'm not, one thing I really feel like is a problem with modern society is like, judgment, people being very quick to judge. I think that we're all. Is
this come from you're a recipient of judgment?
No, I mean, I don't. I mean, of course, I experience people judging me, and like
based upon your appearance.
Yeah, based upon my appearance, based upon my music, based upon things that I say. Yeah. People don't like things that I say. People want me to say something that I'm not saying. It's everybody's gonna, think something or other of you, and I find it's like we're all human. We're all humans, and we're all souls that are encapsulated in these
these bodies trying to figure it
through
out.
This life, right? But I mean, this life on our spirit's journey is a very infinitesimal
can only imagine,
right? Yeah. And so like what we're experiencing now, it's like we're learning these lessons, and you look at yourself as kind of this much enlightened, and you see somebody like who's a guru, you see somebody who's a guru, and you're like, damn, like they're meditating, like most of the day, and so
feel it when I walk by them,
right? And it's like, I feel like you're if you're in this kind of like stage in your journey towards moving towards the light, it's like you have as much of a hard time like sitting down and spending a good amount of time with somebody that's like super enlightened as you do sitting down with somebody that's like, I don't give a shit about anything. I don't care about making money, and I just care about I just care about making money, and like take and like that. And I feel like the reason why maybe we know better than to just take and only care about yourself is because we've experienced that maybe in a previous life and figured out that that's not
the game plan here.
It's not the way towards the light. It's not the way for happiness. And I think you have to experience that to know that it's wrong. And so if I go and judge somebody and say, you're an asshole, like it's not for me to judge. It's like, that's your experience. That's what you came here to experience, and you're gonna learn from that experience. I
love you.
Yeah. Just and to like and judging somebody is like, that's not really doing anything for them.
No,
you're not going to help them. Yeah. It's like you're really just creating,
more problems, I guess. More tension.
And you're creating
in the world.
a negative. You're creating a negative, frequency within yourself.
Not necessary.
Yeah.
Let's shift back to music. Yeah. When did you first start writing and performing?
In my teens, I started writing music with some bands that I was in then, and started writing music and performing around that time, maybe 15, 16 years old. Yep. And
was there a first song that you wrote that you were like, this is my jam, you played it every time? Like, what was that?
No, man.
Baby? Nothing.
I mean, no. Like, I started writing when I started writing music. I just started writing a lot of music, and there was a lot of music that I wrote that I was never really happy with, And I think I wrote, I don't know, 50 or 100 songs.
Bits and pieces and notebooks. It didn't go where you wanted it to go.
It was never really bits and pieces, honestly, man. I'm the type of person that's like, when I start something, I see it through to the finish.
Hold on. So you sit down. Let's go through the songwriting process. The inspiration comes, you sit down, And you write the whole song?
It's no.
Okay.
I think there's only been 2 songs in my life that I've written like that.
And that was just because the flow was happening. You weren't forcing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. But I mean, I think like, you know, it's never like, I don't ever feel like I'm forcing it, you know, but at that age in my teens, I did, you know, I did. I wasn't connected.
We got a show this week. I'm going to write a new song like that.
Yeah. It was just like, I wanted to write songs and I felt like, you know, I wanted to be creative. I was like really into art up to that point, and I always loved to like draw and paint, and so, you know, and I was always just like wanting to do that. So when I started playing, you know, guitar more and singing and writing songs, I wanted to do that. I wanted to write songs. I wanted to make songs, and you know, but sometimes they take a long time, and I'll have an idea, but I always kind of go back to those ideas and keep working on them over time. Sometimes it takes 10 or 15 years, or sometimes
do you actually write them on paper? Is that still the way you do it?
Yeah, I do.
I'm happy to hear that. The phone's not really involved unless you have an idea and you sing it into it.
I do. Yeah, I mean, I do take notes on my phone, and I do sometimes write lyrics on my phone, but ultimately it's like just a holdover until I get it on, because I have like books that I write songs on. So if I'm writing lyrics,
ever leave the house?
Yeah, they do. Sometimes I bring them on tour. You know, I mean less these days because I have the phone. But in the end, I always like transfer it into the book. You know, to really like when I'm really getting into it. You know, it goes in the book.
So as you go through your career, you're playing shows, things are bubbling a little bit. Was there a particular like video that you released or song that came out that was this big jump off for you, or was it just continuously taking steps towards your goals and a 1,000 mini successes?
It's kind of both, you know. I feel like
Let's hear about both.
Yeah, I feel like the 1,000 mini successes is kind of the story of my career, because I've just kind of always had this like slow and steady growth. Like I played gigs for years and years and years and years in Hawaii before I ever left the island, started going out to the other islands, and then started going to the mainland and stuff. But I did have one video, you know, that just like did really well.
What was that?
There's a video for Permanent Holiday. Yeah, and like that was just like,
I'll be truthful, that was the first song that I had heard from you.
Right, for most people. And I mean, that song I definitely can credit with bringing me around the world, because, you know, it was like one day, you know, we did that video one morning, and like it was like we were not thinking much of it, and then like, you know, it got some views, and like I think it was at like, you know, something around 10,000 views, and I was just like tripping, you know, like this is amazing, you know, and then, you know, it got shared like kind of virally one day on Reddit, and it got on the front page of Reddit, and then it was like million views overnight, and that was like, that blew my mind, and I was like, whoa, this is like, you know, and it's like with a song like that, you never really know. You write it. I mean, I take every song, and I just like every song I write is my favorite song that I write, you know, and you never know. Like I'll have my perception of a song and think like, this is the best song I've ever written, and I really think like people are going to connect with this one, and then you take it out and you play it, and it's like, people didn't really connect with that one like I thought they would. And then a song like Permanent Holiday I wrote, and it was just like, this is a cool song. I didn't really like I didn't have that thought about it.
You weren't like, this is the game changer right here.
Yeah.
So you went to your homie's house. Like, where is that place where you filmed that?
It was just it was this group called High Sessions, and it was one of their production people's house in Kaimuki, and and we just went there one morning, and we almost didn't do it. It was like we had a gig real late the night before, and we had to be there like pretty early, and you know, the night before I was like, oh, man, so tired, we should just cancel it. And they were like, yeah, we'll just do it. And we went and we did it, and it was all like first takes, you know. It was like, you know, we didn't really like, probably if I knew it was gonna be like that, I would have probably like, you know, been like, no, let's do like 4 or 5 takes until we get it like really good.
So when you watch the video, you've obviously watched it, like, are you like stoked on the performance, or are there points where you're like,
of course. I mean, I never can really like watch one of my performances and be like, yes, I nailed it. It's like more like,
I am so good.
Yeah, I'm always just like, oh, yeah, I messed that note up. Oh, I was flat there. You know, it's like, I'm always kind of like looking to, you perfect and critique myself so that I can do it a little bit better next time, hopefully.
So as far as touring, being in the van, taking the planes, all the things, do you love this kind of lifestyle? Do you embrace the unknown, the new situations, the new conversations? You're just like a goofy, exuberant child out there running around all happy, or is it, there's a lot right here, man. I'm about to get on stage, and I honestly would like to be getting into the bed.
It's both, man. I mean, I have nights like that where I'm just like, really wow, I'm like, it's been a pretty rough few nights, and like I'm tired right now, but luckily it's such an interactive music that I know, like, I have no doubt that the crowd is gonna be there for me, and the energy is gonna be good. And I've never had a show where I just felt like, oh, this is a drag, like, really, honestly, I don't like really remember ever having a show like that.
You say rough nights, like, is that because the window is small, you got to travel, there's no sleep, or do you also like to keep the party going after the show?
Oh, no, not at all, man. I'm not a party animal. I don't like
none of that.
I don't drink alcohol at all. I really don't like.
Yeah, you said no to the Enjoy Your Life brand session IPA.
Yeah, man. I don't drink alcohol. I haven't drank alcohol for a long time now, and I I don't even smoke on the road really because of my voice, So I just like I really like try and stay, keep
your best to be your best.
Just because
it's impressive.
I push myself pretty hard. I usually play like about 2 hours plus every night, and it's a lot longer than most people go for sets. But I have long songs, and
it's like you're trying to get 90 minutes out of people, and they're like, can we make it like 75 with an encore, maybe?
Right, exactly. But I've got a lot of music, and I've got a lot of long songs, and like I find like even when we say like, we're just gonna do 90 minutes, it ends up being like 2 hours plus, because I just get in there and I start doing it. So, I mean, I think I have to like really try and get as much sleep as I can, try and stay as hydrated as I can. I don't know how, and I mean, it's like I'm not touring in a tour bus, so I don't have like somebody driving me overnight and I can sleep.
In
it's
the
like
whole seat.
Yeah,
often doing the driving or in the passenger seat, like my neck's starting to kill me.
Yeah, exactly. It's
funny from the armrest,
and it's not always like. So because of that, it's like sometimes we got long drives and we get out late, and
so you're saying there's work involved in this?
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I mean, I think
it's not all rainbows and sunshine and smiles.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
It is.
It is. And we do it with a smile because it's
what else
awesome.
are you gonna do?
It's awesome, and we get so much love, and that really carries us through. Because if it was just like doing that to like go, I don't know, like go to stay up late and then wake up early the next morning to drive 5 hours to the next construction site.
Yeah,
and
you probably wouldn't be vibing the same way.
I'd probably be pretty pissed, but it's like, you wake up after a few hours of sleep and you go, oh, okay, all right, let's get going. And it's like, you're doing it because tonight's going to be awesome, and tomorrow night's going to be awesome, and the next night's going to be awesome.
Live.
Yeah.
Accomplish this.
Yeah. And it allows, I mean, it's such a great blessing, man. I mean, I go home after this tour and I get to be home with my family and spend a ton of time with them and
tell
like
some good stories, hear some good stories.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a great blessing, and I'd never complain about all the hard work that we do. It's all part of it, man.
Is there a new album in the works? We hit the studio? What's going on?
Yeah, a great big new album that I've been working on for a while now, and it's coming pretty close to fruition. But it's like I've got 25 songs now that I recorded, a lot of really long songs. So it's gonna be. I haven't really even
one album.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna be one album.
Okay.
It's gonna be one project, but it's gonna be released as volumes. So it's going to be like, I don't know if it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be 4, but it's going to be at least 2 and possibly 3.
I like the way you released the videos from the live performance, like over the course of the wildness in the world. That was good. Kept me entertained. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So as you're in the studio, are you hitting it in Washington now? Is that where you're recording?
Well, now I'm at the point now where I'm doing, I have a home studio, so I'm pretty much putting the final touches on at my home studio, but I recorded most of it at a really cool studio in Northern California called Prairie Sun Studios. That's like a really, they kind of specialize in vintage gear. We recorded the whole album through a vintage Neve console to like a tape machine, to an analog tape machine.
Like that thing behind you.
Yeah, sort of, but much bigger and much fancier.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, like, I mean, you know, they don't, like, even those, like, amazing, it's a Studer tape machine, so it's basically the Cadillac of tape machines, and they don't make them anymore, you know?
Wow.
The company stopped making them. So, you know, they're like, it's the kind of thing where it's like when you go in, it has to be calibrated right, and it's a.
Are you still able to like fly in tracks, or I'm assuming there's other musicians on the album?
Yeah, so there were 7 of us in the band, and we played everything all live together all at once. And
that's so good for my mind to know when I listen to it.
It's a crazy thing to do, man. And we rehearsed our asses off. So every time previously in the studio, my previous experience was pretty similar to, I think, what most people do now with digital recording, which is you go in with a bare bones band, maybe just drum and bass and a guitar and a vocal or something. Yeah, and you do a rough, and you basically trying to just do scratch vocals and guitar, and you're trying to get a drum and bass track.
95% of the people do
this,
yeah.
And then you do that, and you play each song 4 or 5 times, and then you can
to
cut
the metronome,
and paste, you know, and you can cut and paste the best bits of each take. And you do what they call comping, which is you put together the best of the 4 tracks.
Completely.
And then you overdub everything over that slowly. You add the guitars, you add the keys, you add the horns, you add the vocals, the backing vocals.
And forever it seems like you hit that note when you were in the studio and you try to hit that note 700 times and then you hit it once and now it's on the track.
Yeah. Well, we did it like the complete opposite way because analog tape is so expensive and the songs were so long that we couldn't. I mean, we could only record each song once, so there's no alternate takes of any of the songs.
So you're like, this is the take.
So we played one. Yeah, we played the one. You had to play the one song start to finish. Everybody had to nail it start to finish all together all at once. And you know, and if like you're playing through the song and some of the drummer fucks up, it's like, yep, stop the tape, rewind it, start it again, you know?
Yeah.
And we do it over and over until we nail it all start to finish all together, you know? And that's kind of the beauty of it, man, because having to do that forces you to be super analytical of every aspect of your playing, of your groove, of your fills, of your you know, inflections and all of that, and like to be able to do that together. You
want to be rehearsed, you want to know your parts, you want to hit them, because you got to pull back the tape because you missed that part again, bro, and you don't want any frustration in the room. You just want
and not only that, I flew my entire band from Hawaii to California, and I flew a really amazing legendary engineer, Jim Fox, from Washington D.C. to California. Rented the studio for an entire week, and we lived there for a week all together.
There's a little price behind that, so we got to get this done.
Yeah, so if you know, if one of the songs, like, and somebody's not rehearsed, and like, you know, you're letting down everybody else, and you're not, like, we're not gonna get that song. So everybody was really conscious of that and came super prepared. It was an amazing experience, and we did everything that we set out to do. And you know, since then I've just been working on.
Wait,
you know,
when is the volume 1 coming out?
I don't really know, man. It's like it's getting close to mixing now, you know. But I've been working on like post-production stuff and overdubbing, like percussion and stuff like that, and backing vocals and extra horns and strings, and you know, it's a huge production. And I've also been working on I did a bunch of like more stripped down acoustic tracks that I usually do for albums as well. So kind of been just like adding to it, and
listening. What does this
really,
need?
really
I got to do one thing to make this a little better.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
Go.
And I'm kind of like, I'm really detail minded. So if every detail isn't like all there, and it's like I'm not going to be able to send it off to mixing until it's good, you know.
Let me ask you a question, Mike. Can I give you a gift?
Sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right.
So here we have
It's
a
like
gift. I want you to open
Christmas.
it. Tear into it. It's not a holiday. It's just I always feel like giving a gift, like we've said, it's like heightening an energy. If you're open to it, it's
totally
just a good time. You know, a great experience.
It's like all kinds of shirts and hats and stuff in here.
And you got it.
Nice. Thanks, man.
Extra large is what your homegirl told me.
Nice. Thanks, man.
Yeah, enjoy your Life brand gear in there. Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
Of course. I appreciate you being here. Let's touch on this one right here. So your songs are clearly and directly positive and meaningful, full of hope, triumph, unity, and self-confidence. And at this point in the new wave reggae world, that is unique because many acts are forced to or feel the pressure to fall in line with the pop culture in order to further progress in their career and gain new fans and new audiences. You don't do that. Is this like you think about this, or this it just happens to be the way that you write? Do you feel any pressure to do the other things?
I mean, I feel like most people don't, like, even if they're writing pop music, I don't think people are necessarily like I don't think, Stick Figure, for example, set out to just be like, like, I don't really care about what I want to write. Like,
just gonna
I don't
write
think
pop
Scott
songs.
was like, I don't care what I want to write. I'm just gonna write really like catchy pop reggae songs that like are gonna make me one of the most popular bands in the world. I think he just like was.
This
he
is
just
what
likes
I do.
that, that's what he likes and that's what he does, and he does it well. So like, it's like there's really
that's
no,
him being himself.
Yeah,
that's
there's no
his
difference
love.
between me and him in that way, and I think for me, like that's not like, I just write the songs that come through me, and I haven't ever like sat down and thought to myself like, I'm gonna write a song that I think will be a little bit easier to digest for like the masses. Yeah. And I mean, I've always thought, well, if that song comes, I'm not gonna be like, oh, this song sounds too poppy.
That's
so
not me.
like,
That's not
and
me,
I think
even though I
it's
wrote it.
like, yeah, it's like it's. I just whatever comes through, and I'm happy with it. And I've had songs where I've been like, this song sounds like it might be, more of a like mainstream breakthrough song, but I'm never really right about that anyways. So if I think that and I go and I put that song out and then I go, it didn't really do as well as I thought it would, and like a song like Permanent Holiday, which I didn't think that about, is my most popular song.
Right, yeah.
It's like it just kind of proves to me like that's not a really good way of thinking, because you don't really know what people are going to do.
You're trying to first you're trying to do things for other people to gain popularity. That in itself is just a twisted way to go about life.
It's a failure mentality.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible way to go about it. Let's make sure you tell me who your musical icons are. Who are the people that you find yourself falling back to that are staple background music in the life of Mike Love?
Oh man,
is that your name?
That's my name.
Okay,
that's my real name.
We won't talk about like all the confusion with the Beach Boys guys. Like So once again,
thanks.
Who's
man.
the background music, the soundtrack?
Man, if you're looking like to music that I fall back on a lot, in reggae music, it's of course like Bob Marley, Israel Vibrations, the Gladiators, Clinton Farron, the Abyssinians, the Congos, classics, Johnny Osborne, and throughout all music, I really love a lot of different kinds of music from Pink Floyd to Rachmaninoff to Paco de Lucia, like a lot of really incredible music. There's a lot of really, really great modern music that I listen to. You're
not just dedicated to reggae.
Yeah,
you are fully into good music.
Yeah, I like a lot of modern like R&B and hip hop and
current hip hop that you're into. Who?
Yeah, I mean, I really love like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole and J.I.D. and There's a lot of really great stuff out there. I'm really listen to a lot of Moses Sumney and Leon Bridges and Amos Lee, and a lot of really good R&B.
Amos is killing them. So good.
Yeah, one of my favorite singers of all time.
Now, as we come close to the end here, there's a couple reasons that I asked you to be here on the Offering Something show. The first is, as I sit here in my world and I see what's going on in yours, the clear way to put this is that I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man.
When I see a human first find a passion and then be confident enough to act upon what they're passionate about, and to take that passion that a lot of people would dismiss because it doesn't seem realistic, and to turn it into a reality that allows for a great life in every sense. I'm proud of you and your efforts to be that confident and to do what you want to do with your time.
Thanks, man.
All right?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, of course. And the second reason is we all decide what we do in our day-to-day lives and all of the interactions that we have and the messages that we put out into the world and what people interpret and receive when they spend time with us. And I appreciate the fact that you are actually operating in an effort to make the world a better, more comfortable and peaceful place. That is amazing.
Thanks, man. Thank you. That is my goal, Yeah.
I can see it from where I am, thousands of miles from you. I can see it.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's it. We got to wrap up here because you got a lot of places to go to. I don't want to push this too far. So how do we connect with Mike Love? What's the Instagram situation that you got?
Well, Mike Love Music is my Instagram. Yep. And that's my website as well, MikeLoveMusic.com. And that's got all the, all the other stuff on there too.
Is everything across the board Mike Love Music?
No, it's different. I think it's I didn't jump on quick enough to snag it. I think it's Mike Love Hawaii on Twitter and TikTok, and then Mike Love.
This is confusion. Music. Let's stick to Mike Love Music on Instagram and the website, and it'll take you to everything else.
Yeah, you'll find me.
In closing here, is there any message, any quote that really makes you feel right? Anything that you want to say to round out to the audience there?
Well, I think it's a really important time that we're living in now. It feels like a very hectic and tumultuous time. There's so much division going on, and I think people are being manipulated into being divided. When we're divided, we're easier to control. And I think that one of the main things that people need to start doing is following their intuition. There's so much information on the internet. There's information to validate basically any argument you can find on the internet. But what feels true to you? Is it what you're being told, or are you listening to what you feel, what your intuition says? I think that's where humanity has lost our way. We've been tricked into giving away all our power, not realizing that every answer that we have is already written on our ancient souls.
From within.
Yeah. So people, I just want to encourage people to take the time to sit down, take the time to quiet everything around them and listen to their inner voice, follow their inner guidance, get in touch with intuition. It's more important now than ever. So many people are just being led so far astray, and it's time to wake up. The reason we're being controlled is because we hold all the power, and when you take that back and you start to manifest and control your own destiny,
take the power back.
Yeah, you become powerful. You stand in your own power, and it's it's time.
If somebody had asked me that question, I'd give the same exact answer.
Perfect.
You're unbelievable.
Thank you, brother.
Right? I love you, man.
Thank you. Love you too.
Thank you so very much for being here, Mike.
Oh, it's my
Honestly,
pleasure.
I appreciate you moving your physical body to this location.
Yeah,
it takes
man.
effort and the hustle and the grind, but I love you for doing it.
Thank you. Love you, brother. Thank you.
This is Offering Something. I'm Michael Bernia. So much appreciation to our sponsors. One more time, Enjoy Your Life brand, Riverwalk Brewing Company, Higher Education Music and Arts Festival. We love you for watching the show. This is peace. This is what peace is right here. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Michael.
That's it. We are out of here. Yeah.